Professor, you mentioned in your paper that a common treasury will help solve the current crisis. Hypothetically speaking, how will this common treasury look like and how will it be structured?
This is a big question. It demands a lot of thought and discussion. I expect that a thorough study needs to be done of existing operational models of federal states, such as those of the US, Canada, Australia, and of course Germany. The European Union should take into account this international experience, though the final solution will probably be an original European one, based on politics as well as economics. Whatever form it takes, I believe that the common treasury should be accountable to the European Parliament in order to have democratic legitimacy. The process of creating a common treasury should begin as soon as possible, given that agreement will not be easy and will take time. Nevertheless, a first step could be taken immediately by creating Eurobonds. This could be issued by the European Investment Bank for the financing of infrastructure throughout Europe, with an emphasis on countries suffering from recession. In this way, they could also help in overcoming the recessionary tendencies caused by the generalized fiscal austerity, and in this manner, hopefully, kickstart growth.
As Europeans who spent centuries fighting one another, can we ever really have a united federal European state?
The two catastrophic world wars of the 20th century were caused by these nationalistic sentiments. And the European project was based on the need and desire to avoid similar disasters in the future. It is therefore not a question of whether we can overcome these nationalistic sentiments. We must overcome them, and the question is of how to best achieve this. Europe has become more united over the past half-century, and this is a process that must continue. European integration must be deepened, and if this means a reduction in national sovereignty, this is a small price to pay for creating a stronger Europe and avoiding war. In any case, national identity and national sovereignty should not be confused with each other. National identity is based on national culture, and there is no reason why national culture should suffer because national sovereignty is diminished. European integration has always respected differences in national cultures, and the federal Europe only stands to gain from the flourishing of a variety of national cultures.
Why do you think that critics are unwilling to look at other causes of the euro crisis other than the sovereign debt crisis?
I can only guess. A number of possible explanations come to mind, which may apply to different critics. First, there is the lack of deeper analysis, which is often associated with an attitude of vulgar empiricism. You look around, and what do you see? You see the governments of some European states being heavily indebted and not being able to borrow. So it must be a sovereign debt problem, and the European crisis is the result of these sovereign debts. Second, this way of looking at the matter fits in with national stereotypes and prejudices and suits many Northern Europeans. They can blame the spendthrift Southerners, who are most likely to also be lazy and irresponsible, and thus feel morally superior and justifiably aggrieved. After all, they are called upon to pay for a problem which is not of their own doing and for which they are not at all themselves responsible. These two explanations cover most popular views regarding the crisis. When we consider professional views, the critics' unwillingness to consider other causes is due, I think, to the responses to the problem they are willing to contemplate or would like to see. The response to a crisis which is solely due to excessive government borrowing and debt accumulation is the imposition of stricter European controls over government budgets and fiscal austerity in order to reduce the level of debt. If southern European states are made to amend the spendthrift ways, then all will be well. There is no need for northern European states to change their stance and implement more expansionary policies, and of course, there is no need for a common treasury, which will affect national sovereignty and most likely transfer resources from north to south. This is, roughly speaking, the official position, given that the political leadership is not prepared to take a bolder advance in the direction of European integration. Moreover, it stands to reason that the official position will be loath to admit a basic fault in the construction of the euro. As regards critics who are Eurosceptic or against any further European integration, they are clearly opposed to the creation of a common treasury and are therefore predisposed to see the crisis as a result of excessive sovereign debt, which ought to be corrected by fiscal austerity. In their case, an exit of one or more states from the Eurozone under the pressure of austerity is no great loss and may even be desirable if it decidedly stops any further move towards federal Europe.
Thank you.
Thank you.